You're listening to Bookmark My Words. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Sarah.
Please like, share, follow, subscribe. Tell us
Your favorite fall activity.
your favorite fall activity in the comments, please. As always, we don't like begging, but we're gonna beg you for a second so that way it just gets the algorithm going and helps us go out there. Thanks. So how was your week?
My week was good. I feel like there's nothing ever eventful anymore. No good stories or anything. Just settling into my new position at work.
You've talked about that like a million times.
Yeah,
Still settling.
still settling. Some days are better than others.
Like a house. Takes a while. Few years.
Just running the boys around here and there and everywhere because they're into everything now. So,
Well, I got something. I finally got my placement for my student teaching stuff. Gonna be in fifth
yay.
grade.
Are you nervous to be in 5th grade?
Yeah.
Because I know you were wanting smaller.
I know I was just like, I will be okay as long as it's not kindergarten.
Yeah, that's true.
I just did
I'd
not,
rather it be that age
I
than
can't be
kindergarten.
that peppy all the time. Now, I was shooting for like fourth grade, so I didn't really get off that far.
Oh, I
And
thought you were hoping like second.
I was, but they said that they don't really do second a whole lot.
Oh,
So they said normally it's third, fourth, or fifth a lot of times. And then randomly they'll do like other positions. Obviously, I can't, for like privacy purposes, I can't say like the teacher's name or anything like that. But she's been a teacher of the year like 2 or 3 times.
cool.
I'm excited.
And you do good with Raylan. He's 5th grade.
Yeah, I've been around our fifth graders, so I guess it's not going to
Yeah.
be that big of a deal. The only difference is different position. And thankfully, I'm
Yeah.
not with our fifth graders because I'm used to
Right.
going, hey, stop. But sometimes maybe they need that. But anyway, uh, so yeah, I'm excited about that. But anyway, I just wanted to update. I know I've not been on media a whole lot. Sorry. I think it was just pure laziness on my part because I can't think of any ideas. So, but we are still doing next month the whole crime books,
Yes.
fiction and nonfiction.
I'm getting ready to start mine.
Well, good. Probably by the time
It'll be my week.
it'll be your week. So,
That's what I'm hoping.
but we're still doing that. I've just not advertised it a whole lot. I thought about going and doing something today, and then I picked up
Didn't.
my phone and didn't. But today I've got a spooky read. It was just like a random find on Libby,
Mm.
and it just popped up there, and I think I searched thrillers, and it popped up and was like, we think you might like this. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then I thought I had heard this author before, but I have not read her before. So it is called I'll Be Waiting by Kelley Armstrong. And it says Nicole never expected to see adulthood, being diagnosed with cystic fibrosis as a child. Then medical advances led her live into her 30s, and she met Anton, who taught her to dream of a future together. Months after they married, Anton died in a horrible car crash, but lived long enough to utter 5 words to her: I'll be waiting for you. That final private moment became public when someone from the crash scene took it to the press. The terminally ill woman holding her dying husband as he promised to wait for her on the other side. Worse, that person claimed it wasn't Anton who said the words to her, but his ghost, hovering over his body. Since their story went public, Nicole has been hounded by spiritualists promising closure. In the hopes of stopping her downward spiral, friends and family find a medium, a professor of parapsychology. For the seance, they rent the Lake Erie beach house that Anton's family once owned. The medium barely has time to begin his work before things start happening. Locked doors mysteriously open, clouds of insects engulf the house. Nicole hears footsteps and voices and creaks of old dumbwaiters in an empty shaft. Throughout it all, she's haunted by nightmares of her past because, unbeknownst to others, this isn't her first time contacting the dead, and Nicole isn't her real name. That's when she finds her first body. So, it really is like right off the bat. They're like in the car. Oh, we're gonna go on this cruise. Anton seems like the perfect husband.
Oh.
He is. I don't know where the men like this grow, but not here. He's like already checked into it. He's like, hey, for a honeymoon, since we didn't do one, I want to do this cruise. And she's like, oh, that sounds amazing. Just as long. And he's like, I've already looked into it. Yeah, they'll allow all of your equipment because she has uh, cystic fibrosis, which
Mm-hmm.
is sometimes called CF. She has breathing problems. She's in her 30s. They didn't think she would live past like 17. But
Wow.
because of amazing medicine and her structured life and how she lives, she's in her 30s now. So she has to like pack equipment around, of course. But he's like, they allow it on there. And he's like, I've even read reviews and he's like perfect.
Yeah.
Where is he? And rich.
Ooh.
Right? I mean, she's rich too, but I
Ooh.
know. So
The rich people always find the rich people. Do you notice
I
that?
know. It's the circles.
It's the circles. Our circles don't overlap.
I wouldn't fit in rich people. I don't know. I'm kind of eccentric sometimes.
Yeah, you could be the
I could
the
be the rich aunt.
the artsy
Yeah,
rich.
but they're driving, they get in a car crash, and I will even tell you that Anton dies, obviously.
Yeah.
She lives, and that is the very last thing he says to her is, I'll be waiting. And he kind of takes like his final breath and goes. People are taking pictures, cell phone videos.
And that is so true as to what happens now.
Yeah. Like someone was calling the ambulance, but
Yeah.
everybody else was just kind of standing around watching this lady hold her dying husband. It's sad. It's sad. Don't do that. Like, I understand there's nothing you can do, but don't film it.
Yeah, like why do you gotta film it? I would like to hope that my first thought wouldn't be to film it.
I think I'd just be in like a, how can I help? How can I
I
help?
don't think I would
How
because
can I help? That's not my first thought.
I am a picture freak.
Yeah.
But I don't think that is where my brain
Like
goes
mom.
through.
So, of course, that leaked into the newspapers because they found out that she had CF and they're like, oh, how sad. This dying woman is holding her dying husband. He's going to go first, even though he's technically perfectly healthy. And you know how they like to spin
Spun
that
their
stuff.
stories, yeah.
And it really does dig on her a little bit. Then it jumps 3 years. You catch up with her, and she's with a girl named Shayna. They are both in a grief support group. Shayna's in there because she's lost her older sister. Obviously, I'm gonna start calling her Nick because that's what they call her. It's not Nicole, it's Nick. Nick was in there for her husband, and they're going to a seance. His psychic claims that she can contact Anton for closure so he can finish what he was gonna say and all that. Nick pretty much walks in and goes, it's kind of drafty in here. And the lady's like, oh, it's the spirits. And she gets up and she walks over behind this curtain. She went, I think it's actually your fan that's sitting on the floor. I mean, and she just like goes through and picks out all the things. And Shayna's like, "Oh, I'm so glad I bring you with me because like I'd totally be fooled."
Mm-hmm.
And there's about 13 years difference in between them.
Mm.
Remember that. There's a reason for that. So this is like become an addiction to Nick. She keeps going. She's like, I don't even know why I go to all these spiritualists and mediums. They're all fakes. I've never found one that's not lying to me. But she keeps going. Enough so to where her older brother is like, you've got to stop. You keep spending thousands of dollars and time that you could be doing something more important on all this stuff that you know is just not going to work.
Yeah.
And it kind of hints at she's been to a seance, like a real seance when she was younger, and it didn't go well. So she's like, yeah, I can tell them because I've been to a real one. And he's like, yeah, I know, but maybe we should just stop. So her brother-in-law, Jen, that is so hard for me because I always want to call him Jim.
Yeah.
It's Jin.
Jin.
Jin. Jin.
Anton and Jin.
Anton, Jin. I forget the brother's name because he's only in there in like phone calls and stuff. He's a very amazing big brother because like all he worries about is her health.
Aw.
Jin is an amazing brother-in-law, and they have like their own situation. You just have to read it. It's funny.
What?
So her brother was
Mm-hmm.
once married. They had kids, and then she noticed he's gay. She told him, you're gay, and he was like, you're right, I'm gay. They divorced, and then her best friend that she worked with, who was gay, she was like, you should meet my ex-husband. And
Okay.
and then they got married.
Oh,
But they're all good with it. I mean, they're best friends.
honestly,
That'd be kind of
that sounds
cool.
kind of cool, actually. Low key.
But
I think I used that right. I don't know.
okay,
Low
so
key.
cool.
My kids are always getting on to me.
Skibbity doo doo. Whatever.
Skippity toilet, Aunt Stephanie. You're
Ohio.
going to fifth grade.
I know, I'm gonna die.
6, 7.
369. I think of that all the time when they're like, and I'm like, 369. But
See, my brain goes 1738.
I love that one. We're doing great today.
Sorry.
Staying on topic.
Topic.
Anyway, so Nick tells her brother, because he's very concerned about it. He's like, I feel like this is affecting your mental health. She's like, okay, what if we got one last medium and we do this like in a proper setting and we do this for real, no fake psychics, circus tents.
Yeah.
And he's like,
How do you vet them to make sure that they're real, though?
well, see, that's what it takes them several weeks to finally find a guy. It kind of jumps like a little bit. And they find a guy, he's a professor. His name is Dr. Sorello. He is actually a professor at a college in the US. They're in Canada. At a college in the US, and he studies parapsychology.
Oh.
Right? I was like, I didn't know that was
I've heard of paranormal.
yeah. Well,
Heard of
that's
supernatural. Parapsychology.
yeah, he's a parapsychologist and kind of a medium. He can like sense stuff, but he's like, I don't like to call myself a medium because he said, I think I'm just like really sensitive to just been doing this for so long. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, it works. So he advised them, he's like, hey, so this is how we're going to do this. Obviously, we're going to record everything. We're going to get microphones. He said, it's none of this. You pick the place. He's like, I just advised the place be somewhere important to Anton and something that brings up good memories. So she's like, I know the perfect place. He had a family. I call it a lake home, not a beach home. Because when I think Lake Erie, I think of a lake, not a beach.
Oh, well, yeah, but up there it's a beach too.
Yeah, I know. Everybody's like, oh, well, up there it's a beach. And I'm like,
Yeah.
it's not the ocean. Anyway, so it used to be in his family.
But it's not the ocean!
The ocean, it's like.
That's where your tism comes in.
No, but why don't they call it Ocean Erie? Because that sounds weird.
But it's
Ocean
not an
Erie?
ocean.
Exactly. So why is it an ocean house if it's on the lake? Don't say things. Anyway, so she's like, we're gonna go. This house was built by Anton's family. It was in his family for a long time until like his grandmother passed away and they had to sell it because it was just a lot of upkeep. They rent it out as family things every now and then. And so she's like, we were there not long after we got married. I think it'd be a great place. And, she's like, nobody lives in it permanently. It's a rental. So they go there and it's not creepy. Like when you think creepy house, it's not really. It's just older. It's just an older house. It's got squeaky floors. Some doors like kind of stick. Just your average aged house. But since it's a rental, the people that rent it out, they have certain doors that are locked. So you can't get into it. Like
Oh,
their
okay.
cleaning supplies and stuff like that. And they're like, oh, this cabinet's locked, that room's locked, whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
I've
been places like that.
Yeah, like your average normal B&B.
Yeah.
So here comes the doctor and he's like, oh, this is a perfect place. Did it mean something to Anton? And she's like, yeah, it did. And I brought some of his personal things that he was attached to, like his wedding band and his glasses and also his ashes. And so the first night they don't sit down and do a
Yeah.
seance because he plans on doing a few seances throughout the week. And he's like, the idea is that every time we do one, Anton's spirit is supposed to get stronger.
Okay. That
So,
makes sense.
I mean, and it makes sense. It's like, oh, okay. He's like, every time we keep opening that door a little bit,
Makes
some's
it
going to go in and
easier.
out.
Yeah.
They go, and they don't do anything the first night. They just kind of just catch up with each other. But so they kind of do like a mocktail hour and just kind of get, Well, more like a cocktail
I was going
hour.
to say, if they get a little, that's not a mock.
And they share some ghost stories, and they're asking him like, "What was the craziest place you ever been?" And he's like, "The craziest place I ever been was this one house." He said these people just moved in, and he said the son kept saying he was hearing people in the attic, and he said, no, we were just like, "There's not an attic." Turns out there was, and someone died up there, and we found their body.
It's like those suitcases.
What?
I've read a book about this.
Right? He was. I've done this before.
I've been down this hole.
So yeah, he was like, that was probably the craziest thing I've ever, he said, because I also experienced the whispers and the footsteps and stuff. And so, everybody's having a good laugh. They go to bed, and Nick starts to hear stuff. And she's like, haha, funny brain. Like, I'm hearing footsteps in the attic and
Yeah.
whispering. Yeah, no, just go to sleep. Because he also advised them, he's like, if you take any type of like any medication other than like for mental health, but he's like, if you take any sleeping medication, you don't need to be on those, especially Nick, so that way she can have a more connection
Oh,
to the
okay.
other side. So, first night was kind of uneventful. She's just like, whatever. The next day she wakes up and she starts to, as they talk about how they're going to do the seance and stuff, she kind of flashes back to when she was in high school. And this is where you're kind of like, oh, so like she did a seance in high school. You meet her two best friends. You could tell one friend isn't that great of a person, and the other one's kind of like just artistic and goofy. Anyway, so yeah, you kind of catch up on like her high school. It's just like a little tidbit. They're not actually like doing a seance at that moment, but get the gist of her little friend group. And it flips back to the present, and she's like she's got to do her daily stuff. She takes her daily medicine, and then she goes on a run. And as she's on the run, it talked about swarming bugs. There's these type of like, so I'm guessing they're like what we call gnats.
Oh.
I was like, what's a midget? Not
Yeah, like I was not thinking anywhere near an ant or a gnat. I mean,
I was like,
like,
they kept talking about midgets flying. All right.
like that's not the appropriate term
And I
anymore.
was like, what?
This is not. That's not PC.
And then it talked about a migrating.
The migrating? The midgets migrating.
And I was like, this is not okay. And then I was like, it's gotta be a bug. And I seriously had to look it up. It's a gnat. Okay, so gnats.
So is that like a northern thing?
I
They
guess that's
call
what
them
they call them.
midgets?
Midges?
Like midges?
Midges. But the way they kept saying it, I thought they were saying midgets.
Okay.
And I was like,
Midges.
midges. We can't. Anyway,
Sorry.
so, but
Focus.
she getting attacked by all these flies,
Ugh.
gnats, whatever you want to call them, as she's running,
Midges.
and it's making it very difficult for her. And so she kind of starts to turn around and walk back, and one of the neighbor ladies, older lady, comes out and was like, "Hey," and this lady like helps with the house and stuff, so she knows her. And she's like, "Oh, hi," and then she's like, "Can you come here? I gotta ask you a question." She's like, "Great. I just want to get out of this bug swarming
I
place.
don't do swarms.
And just take off this vest because she's got her. It's not like a weight vest, it like vibrates and stuff and compression.
Oh, yeah, it's performing like
Yeah, it's
percussion.
performing
Yeah.
stuff. And
Keep everything loose in
yeah,
their
she's
lungs.
gotta wake up and clear her lungs, is what she said. So she was just like, I really want to get this vest off. And the lady's just like, I just need to ask you a quick question. She's like, okay. And she's like, have you seen a man wandering around here? He's about like in his late 20s, brown hair, wearing flannel. And she's just like, nope. And now she's like, great, who the
Now we
heck's
got a
wandering
weirdo
around here?
wandering
And
around.
she's like, oh, it's my son. He probably just left. But if you see him, tell him I'm looking for him. And she's like, okay, great. And then she's kind of like, why? Because, like, the way she spun the story, he really needed to get back home, like, ASAP. She was kind of a little panicky about it. And so she's like, okay, kind of just put it off and told the others at breakfast, hey, if you see a man wandering around, that's the neighbor's son. tell him his mom's looking for him. And they're like,
Yeah.
okay, here again, they're all like, that's a little weird. Mom's looking for an adult son.
Yeah.
And that's what she's like, I know, whatever, not my problem. And as she's telling everybody, they're like, the doctor's like, well, we need to make sure that nobody's in the house other than us because that's going to mess up the energy of the seance we do tonight. And so they're like, oh, okay. So they go in all the nooks and crannies that they can look at.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, like the basement's locked, the attic is locked. They're like, we can't go into anywhere. They look down in the dumbwaiter shaft. It's just an empty shaft. They've taken out the elevator
Yeah.
part. And they're like, well, we can't get into the basement, and it doesn't look like anybody would just jump down through there, especially not a grown man.
Right. Like if they can't get in there, he shouldn't be getting in there.
Yeah, so they're like, it's fine. I don't think anybody's in the house. Um, they go through, and the first seance, Nick kind of she feels something, but it's nothing like dramatic. And it's very different from the other seances she's been to. Like the only reason why there's a candle, like he puts out like one candle, and of course he's got a camera set up,
Mm-hmm.
and she's like, "What's the candle for?" And he's like, "Oh, that's just in case there is a wind or a draft.
Mm.
We know the difference between a spirit touching us and a wind draft."
Oh.
Which made sense. I was like, "Okay, scientific. Yeah." So, and he's trying to be like as clinical about it as possible. I mean, Dr. C's being kind of scientific rather
Yeah.
than theatrical. And Nick doesn't really feel anything. And after they're done, she kind of flashes back to the seance with her high school friends. It was also kind of nothing really happened. A friend had went to, I want to say it was Puerto Rico, and she had claimed that she had brought back some shrooms. You later find out that's not true. But it's funny because she talks them into not Nick, because Nick's like, I'm not taking any drugs because it's going to mix with my medication,
Yeah.
and I don't want to flake out in the middle of the woods when I'm not supposed to be out at night anyway, let alone, have some type of weird
Weird
reaction.
Puerto Rican shrooms.
So they're like, okay, that's fine, but you don't want the two of us to be alone in the woods all high, do you? And she's like, great, so now I have to go
I
and
don't want you
babysit
two
my
to be high
friends?
at all.
Yeah, she's like, why don't we just do a seance just normally? Why do we gotta get on shrooms? Like, whose friends are these? I don't have friends that were like, you wanna go smoke some shrooms and go in the woods and do a
Do you
seance?
smoke the shrooms?
I think they drank theirs. I think they like,
I thought you ate them.
I don't know. I've never seen, like, I just know mushrooms, dude. Either way, I just know people sometimes call it smoking shrooms.
I have questions.
I don't, 'cause it's drugs.
Well, no, I just want to know.
She goes with them and she's like, great, now I'm out here in the middle of the woods, babysitting these two people tripping on shrooms while they're doing a seance. And the first one, it's kind of uneventful. They hear some stuff, they hear some leaves and bushes moving, and it kind of freaks them out. They run out of the woods. Blah. That's it. But one of the girls starts to act, the mean girl. I'm gonna call her mean girl.
Mm.
The mean girl starts to act kind of wigged out. And then for like several days, it talked about her being really weird.
Mm.
And they were just like, oh, okay, she's acting really weird since we left the forest. And then it flips back to present. And that's where Nick's laying in bed after the present seance. And she's hearing more voices this time, but this time it's actually like calling her name. It's not whispers. And it's saying things to her, like really negative, kind of mean things. And she's just
Oh.
like, that's not Anton. That's not Anton's voice.
No.
And she's hearing footsteps and doors opening and shutting. And she's just like, oh, dude, I'm just really weirded out by this. So she even thinks she hears someone downstairs. So she goes to go downstairs and something pushes her.
No.
I would be like, we gotta leave.
Yeah.
We gotta leave. And that's what she's like. Oh, I tripped. Like,
Mm.
that would be me. She's like, gosh, Nick, you're just being so sensitive right now. You think just tripping down the stairs is someone pushing you. Well,
No.
yep, maybe it is, maybe it's not. And nothing's downstairs, but she does notice basement door is open.
The locked basement door
The
is
locked
open.
basement door is open. It's kind of just like open a little bit. And she's like, why is that open?
Mm.
That's not good. And so I don't know what possessed her to do this. She doesn't go wake anybody up.
No.
She goes downstairs. Why would you do that? I just don't know. I don't know why anybody would do this. And she even talks about it. She's like, "And how were you murdered, Nick?" "Well, I went downstairs in the basement in a possibly haunted house."
I'd probably like freak out and start screaming, running up the stairs.
I
The
would
basement's
I
alive!
would at least go get my brother-in-law and go, "Can you come with me?" Because he is like the most supportive dude ever. He's all like, "I don't believe in none of this stuff, but we're gonna go." And he's like, from what I understand, like a big buff dude. So
Yeah,
go get someone. Like, you don't want to wake up the doctor because you don't know him. That's fine. But you got
yeah.
a brother-in-law. So Nick goes downstairs, and obviously it's really dark. It's a basement. It's creepy.
I
I'm
don't like
sorry.
basement
Most
midday.
basements, unrenovated basements, are creepy. I'm sorry. I can't. Like, the only basement I'm not creeped out at is our aunt's. That's it. And I mean,
I still don't like to be down there at night.
I was scared to say, even at night, I feel like, I don't know if it's because she's got the big glass sliding
The
doors that
glass sliding door, you're totally exposed.
I'm
Then you've
like,
got that creepy wood furnace.
oh yeah. You always were freaked out by the thing. I always thought it was the
No.
coolest thing ever. So she goes downstairs and there's a sleeping bag and what looks like wrappers of food and stuff. And she's like, "What? Who's been camping in the basement?" And then of course she starts moving stuff and she finds like this like little bag of like needles, used needles. And she's
Oh.
like, "Uh-oh. I bet this is the son. I bet he was like sleeping here and then when we got here he took off." So she just goes back upstairs and kind of just does her treatment and stuff. And then when everybody wakes up, she's like, "Hey, I need you guys to go downstairs. The basement's unlocked somehow." And that freaks everybody out. They're like, "How was the basement unlocked?" She's like, "I don't know. It just was and also open." And that kind of sets the doctor. He's like, "I don't think it's safe. Do you want to leave?" And she's like, "No, I think whoever was down there might have left. And I think they went
Yes, but he
out."
got in there somehow.
And that's what he's like, "So you're thinking that, like, he got in there before we got in
And
here?
then locked himself in there.
And then locked himself in, and then when we were all in bed, he left?" And she's like, "Sure."
I don't like it,
I
Nick.
wouldn't
I
like it
don't
e
like it.
I wouldn't have liked it. I would have been like, "We gotta go."
Yep, gotta go.
And so Jen and Shayna are both like, "Listen, it's whatever you decide. This is your seance. The doctor doesn't want to leave because it's his research. But if you want to leave, we'll leave with you. It's whatever." And she's like, "No, I really want to finish this out." So they just think of it. They're like, "Okay, Nick and Shayna are just going to share a room. And it's going to be right there next to Jen's. So if anything happens, they're
Can
like,
hear.
we can
Yeah.
hear it." That was the plan. And they do stop the neighbor lady. And they're like, "Hey, um, because she comes to bring food and she's like, "Hey, so we did find a little stash." And she's like, "Yeah, I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to scare anybody, but my son is a drug addict and I've been trying to get him into rehab, but you know, it takes a while
Yeah.
and sometimes he runs off." And so she's like, "It's really hard to get him into rehab when he's not here." So they tell her, they're like, "Well, he's not in the house anymore. We didn't know he was down in the basement." And so she's like, "It's okay." She's like, "That's what I was worried about was happening was he was hiding out somewhere and I just didn't want you guys to call the cops on him cuz he's not going to harm you. He's just hiding and high." So then they have kind of like a normal
Sorry. Just hiding and high.
hiding
It's a
in high
calm, high person.
just anyway. Oh. So they start the second seance that night, and the doctor's like, "Okay, we're gonna go ahead and start this just like we did last time. We're gonna have someone tell like a little story about Anton, and then we're gonna just roll into the seance." Before they even really get into the seance, he shuts it down. He's like, "Whoa, stop. I don't feel Anton. I feel something very, very dark." And he's like, "And kind of dangerous, and I don't think we should continue. I think we should just stop. And so he closes out the seance and he just like turns on Nick and it's just like, you need to really believe in this. And she's like, what are you talking about? He gets like really, he's like, you're probably bringing in some negative energy because you're not giving 110%. I need you to really believe in this. This isn't like your other seances. This is real. And she's like, I'm not doing anything. And he's like, well, it's attached to you. And she's like,
There's evil
she's like, what am I
negative
doing?
attached to me?
Yeah.
What did I
And
do?
everybody's kind of sitting around just like, what are you talking about? And she's like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I felt like I was being watched earlier, but it wasn't anything like evil. It just kind of
Yeah.
made me uncomfortable. And she's like, do I think it was Anton? No. But she's like, I've felt Anton here. And so he's like, whatever. Well, we'll continue this tomorrow because whatever's here needs to go away first because we don't want to invite something really bad. Makes sense. And then, of course, as she's going to bed, you kind of get the second seance that she did with her friends in high school because she kind of has these like as she's sleeping. I guess because she's not on her medication to help her sleep. So she starts to have her flashback dreams.
Oh.
And this is where the seance gets crazy. So, Mean Friend talks him into going back a few days later after the first seance and is like, we gotta go back and do that again and get her. She keeps saying, we gotta get her out of me. And they're like, what the heck are you talking about? And then the artistic friend is like, Nick, I gotta tell you something. And she's like, what? And she's like, those are just regular mushrooms. And she's like, what are you talking about? She's like, "Wait, they were just organic mushrooms. I just like dried in the oven. And I just like, we just like ate them.
So they just made like miso soup.
Yeah, they were like, they're nothing, shroomy about them. They're just regular mushrooms.
Oh, Lord.
And she's like, well, why don't you tell her that? And she's like, oh, she's mad at me. And she's like, I don't want to tell her that because she believes something inside of her and that we need to do another seance to get her out. And she's like, well, she thinks she's tripping on drugs.
Yeah, but like, how long does this
And
heifer
that's
think
like,
since she's tripping?
she's like, you don't trip on shrooms for like days. And so they're arguing in the middle of the woods, and Mean Friend gets ahead of them, and then she turns around and she's like, you two need to get with it. You need to stop talking about me behind. This is all your fault. We need to do this again. And they're like, okay, let's just do this again and get it out of her head. So they do the seance, and then things start to get really, really weird. And Artsy Friend gets mad and leaves
Okay.
because the Mean Friend kept saying it was her fault. And she kept saying, you know what you've done. And she's like, I don't know of anything that you're talking about.
Just gave you fake shrooms.
Yeah, she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And Nick even thinks she's just talking about the shrooms. And then she's like, you know what you've done. She's like, I think this is something very different than shrooms. Like, I don't know what they're arguing about, but this is very, very weird. Artsy Friend runs away in the middle of the seance. And then, of course, Nick's like watching her. And as she turns around, Mean Friend's gone. Just like poof. She has no idea where she went. And she's like, well, great. Now I've lost both of them. And one is tripping on nothing. And then the other one's
Imaginary shrooms.
imaginary shrooms. And the other one's mad. And so she's like, I guess I'll go to the mad one first and see what the heck the other one's mad about. And so she goes to the artsy friend and she finds her and she's like, what is she talking about? And she's like, I don't know. I don't know what she's going on about. And she's like, but I guess we better go find her before, she gets lost or this gets serious. She can just get over himself. And so they kind of get split up because things start to get really weird and spooky. Nick starts to hear Artsy Friend screaming. I mean, like, really, like, she's being murdered scream. She finds her and she's curled up into a ball. And Nick's just like, oh my gosh, are you okay? And she just thinks she's just been, like, hit or something.
Yeah.
But as she, like, looks at her, like, from the side of her face, she's like, oh, she's got blood on her. And then she turns her over and her guts just, like, spill out. Sorry, it's not funny. It was just like totally wasn't expecting it. And she was like, "Oh my gosh." And so she's like, she stays with her and because she's like, I can't do anything for her.
Yeah, like you can't put her guts back in.
It's like, "Oh, what's like what's supposed to do?" So she's like, "Oh my gosh, it's okay. It's gonna be okay." She kept telling her it's gonna be okay. I mean, I guess in someone's last moment you can lie
She
to
knows
them.
you're lying.
She knows you're lying. I mean, and she does die. Spoiler alerts, I guess. I mean, you don't. I'm not gonna tell you who kills her. She does find Mean Girlfriend, and she's kind of also passed out on the path leading out. The
So does she
knife
just leave her? The
dead?
dead girl?
What was she supposed to do? Drag her body through the woods in the middle of the night?
I don't know. Do they have cell phones?
This was like the early 90s.
Oh,
Yeah, I think they're like our age.
okay. Okay, I'm listening.
Actually, they might be a little older. But yeah. So she does find the mean friend, and she's laying passed out on the path. And not too far away from her is a very bloody knife. And mean friend's got blood all over her. And she's just
Oh.
like, at first she's like, should I wake her up? And then she's like, uh, she's not hurt, but she's got blood all over her. And so she's like, this is gonna sound so mean. I'm gonna just walk past her. And she's like, I'm the one that drove. So she's like, I'm just gonna get in the car, go get help, and come back. She's like, I just don't know if she did this or if somebody's running around out here. But she's like, but there's a knife. And she's like, if there's no one else out here and it's her, she's gonna kill me next.
Yeah, like I'm
I
not
mean,
gonna wake her up so she can kill
so she's
me.
like, I know this sounds, she's like, it sounds so cruel. She's like, I'm gonna leave her here. She gets past her and she only just starts to like come to and then it cuts the scene. And you find out that the one girl did die and the other girl got tossed in the loony bin.
Okay.
Because they couldn't prove. They were like, there was no one else there, but we couldn't necessarily prove anything because she didn't see her kill the friend. She didn't see her stab anyone. She didn't have a knife. She's like, I didn't see anything necessarily, even though, of course, the papers twisted everything
Yeah.
around, making a huge story out of it. So then it flips to present day. And this is like day 3, and they're kind of trapped in the house, and Jen has to leave. He's like, hey, I gotta go into work for like a few hours. It's only like a 2 or 3 hour drive. I'll be there and then be back within like 8 or so hours. Don't do the seance without me. Towards the end, you find out why he really has to be there. It's a little sad. I'll tell you later. I don't want to tell you guys because I don't want to spoil it. So he goes off, gets in her car and drives off. So she's there without a car.
Oh. I don't like that.
I don't like that either. And it's like this is
I don't
where
like being
like
anywhere without a car.
and this is where things start to like we're up here. Things are gonna start. Yeah, she goes on her run. She went to go like be on her run,
Mm-hmm.
but the midges,
Oh, the midges.
there's just too much of them. There's too much of them. Shayna is starting to act really weird towards her, and she can't figure out why. She does kind of disclose a little bit early in the chapters of like, hey, I have done a seance before and it just didn't work out, and you know, that's how I'm able to spot real ones and fake ones. And so, and she doesn't tell Doctor C, even though she does confront him a little bit later in the day. He's standing outside on a cell phone, and you hear that he's talking to, um, I guess like another professor,
Mm-hmm.
and he's talking about a book deal.
Oh.
And she gets mad because she's like, you said all of this would be in private. Like, we have documents saying that and he's like, I'm not going to say names. He said, it's going to be in a scientific form. He said, it's not going to be yours and Anton's name or nothing. But he's like, it's going to be all scientific paper. It's not going to be like a big book or anything. And she's like, well, I just want to remind you, you're here working for me.
Yeah.
And he's like, I know, but
You
he's
don't
like,
want him to have a
my career's kind of technically on the line.
different end goal here.
So she's like, so you're being a little biased, and that was the whole reason why we got you. And so he's like, just don't worry about it. Just keep doing what we're doing. And so they go throughout the day. Everything's weird. Um, She starts getting text messages from her brother, and he's like, "Hey, where's Jen? Had he not left yet? I was supposed to meet him for lunch." And she's like, "Oh, he left hours ago. He should be there by now." And he's like, "Oh, okay. Maybe he's stuck in traffic or something really weird." And then I'm just gonna leave you with Shayna, Dr. C, and Nick find a body in the basement. And Dr. C and Shayna are like, "Let's hold a seance with a body in the center." And Nick is like, "No, we should call the cops." And they're like, "No." And then Dr. C even turns on her and he's like, "You killed this person, didn't you?" And she's like, "No, why would I do that?" And he's like, "I
Why
think
would I
you're,
want to call the cops if I was the one that
yeah."
killed them?
She's like, "This is not making any sense." And she almost seems pretty guilty. Like, you almost think Nick's starting to go a little crazy towards the end, because everything that's like spooky starts happening to just her. Nobody else experiences
Oh.
stuff. It's just her. And I don't want to give too much away because it's like those last 2 or 3 chapters are like boom, 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 boom. And a lot of people die. There is ghosts involved. 2 ghosts to be precise. I will tell you one is Anton. And even in ghost form, he is the sweetest thing ever. I'll tell you Nick lives. I won't tell you who else lives. But Nick lives, and as she's running away from a person who's chasing her, he's like, "Don't go there. Go there." I mean, he's like
Oh.
directing her where to go, and like she almost runs off of a cliff, and he's like, "Stop." Um, because she couldn't see because of all the stupid bugs. And
The
so
midges!
he's like, he stops her from running off a cliff. And even when she's like the very last, I'll tell you the very last scene because it's so sweet. She has like a moment of like clarity and she's able to see and hear him like perfectly. And she's sitting on the steps of the house, wrapped up in the EMT's blanket, and he comes up to her and he sits down next to her and she's like, "I'm so sorry. I know you were waiting on me." And he went, "That's why I'm here. I didn't get to finish what I was saying." And she was like, "What? What?" And he's like, "I'll be waiting for you, but don't hurry." And it's like, and that's
Oh.
like the closing thing. It's like, oh. I'll tell you guys that. I won't tell you how it got to be just him and her on the porch, but I loved it. I rarely give 5 stars, like 5 stars. This was a 5 star. This was like probably one of my top 5 books this year. This was fabulous. And then when I was like, let's keep going with this haunted house thing and tried to read Haunting of Hill House.
Yeah, you said that was a no-go, huh?
That was a no-go. That was a no. I'm sorry. I couldn't do it. I have never, well, I won't say never, this year, and we're in almost October, I have not done I
DNF.
haven't DNF'd a book.
I don't think I've ever DNF'd. Okay, whoa, back up. So, technically, I kind of have DNF'd. They are just sitting in my currently reading. I just don't have the heart
I
to
call those on
DNF them.
pause. I call them pause. So,
Like, they're
but
just kind of chilling.
yeah, Haunting of Hill House was nothing like the show. Nothing. Nothing. I was so bored. I'm so sorry. I don't know if maybe it's because it was written,
Is it really old?
I guess it was written in the 50s. I know the time setting in the book is in the
I
50s.
knew that. I knew the show was in the past. Was it? Isn't it? I get all of those confused. I like them all.
The show is set in like,
Is that the one with the lake lady?
no, that one's set in the 80s though. I guess the 90s. God, are we so old? They're setting. What era is it set in? The 90s. Oh.
The Hill House.
Hill House is the one with all the kids. Yeah. So that has to be 90s.
The one that like
The
girl
bent neck
grew up.
lady.
Yes,
Yeah.
grew up to wear gloves.
Yeah.
Okay.
That one. It was nothing like that. Like in the
Oh.
book, there is a doctor. He wants to prove that this house is haunted. And it's like, okay, that's great. And then he invites like all these people. He invites like 100 people to this house.
Is there not another one? Cause like it popped up on mine and it had a picture of like the show on the cover.
Yeah. That's what it's based off of. There's only
So they
one.
just really
They just really went
twisted
off
it. They just
script.
really did their own thing with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they even like made new characters.
Okay.
Like the only characters they had, so Dr. Crane, Theodora, Eleanor, and Luke. That's it.
Oh.
Like the rest of those people didn't exist.
Yeah,
There's
they
no
did
growing
go.
up. They're adults already. Like they're grown women and men. They're not children.
Okay.
I think it would have been better if I had gone into that knowing that, but also like there was things like women weren't allowed to like she didn't have a job because she wasn't allowed to have a job. 'Cause, you know, it's the 50s.
Yeah.
And she was driving a car. Oh my gosh. And it's like, what? She's driving a car,
Some
Sarah.
days I wish I wasn't allowed to have a job.
I do, but then I don't want to rely on someone. What are you reading right now?
The Pumpkin Spice Cafe.
Oh, that's right.
I am almost done.
I just realized I finished The Ballad of Songbird and Snake.
Oh, yes.
You need to finish that. You need to finish. You need to start it. You need to finish it. You need to
The
read it.
Hunger Games?
Yes, you need to do it. Y'all,
Why?
it's amazing. Everything makes sense.
Should I read that one first?
Yes.
Okay.
Read that one first. Read that one first.
Okay.
Cuz I was like, "Oh my gosh. That explains why President Snow absolutely despises Katniss."
I wonder if Silas has read that one yet.
Yes.
He has?
Yeah.
Oh.
It makes so much sense.
I knew that's the one. I think that's the one he wanted to buy it. So,
Yeah.
book fairs. Okay, book fairs. He had book fair last week.
Yeah.
Week before last, I think. And he was going, he had a couple books that he wanted, and I know there's inflation across the board, but you know, like the Pretty Hunger Games?
Yeah.
He was just gonna buy the first one.
Mhm.
It was $25 at the book fair.
My
And
God.
he got up there and he was like, "Oh, never mind." And the librarian, which you know very well, looked at him and said, "Good call. You could get it in hardback for that." Because it was paperback. I
Yeah.
told him, I said, "I didn't pay that for my whole set
The whole set, yeah.
of the Pretty."
It's like
Well, I
$40.
did. I was going to say, no, that I take that back. I did pay 25. I paid about 40 something.
So
But
still,
that's 4. And it was the Pretties. Like I said, you put that on your Christmas list, son,
yeah.
and don't worry about it. Like, no wonder he crashed out when he asked for $50 and I told him no. That's only 2 books.
Only 2 books.
Like this kid
Poor
used to go in
kid.
and buy like 5. Like he loves his books, but like I told him, I said we can go somewhere else.
So I watched it. I've got one more episode left.
Of what?
Black Dagger Brotherhood, the TV series on Passionflix. I really like it. I'm really enjoying it. I
Yes?
am. I was like, I don't know why I get secondhand embarrassment though.
Oh.
Is that like a thing? Like when you're watching something, you're like, I don't know if it's like fangirling so hard, you're like, oh, and then you're like, well, that's embarrassing.
Are you just sitting there like kicking your
Yeah, it's just
feet?
like, look at it. Oh, now
There's my boo.
yeah, look at Butch, and then it's so dumb, and I'm like in here by myself in my room watching this, and I'm just like,
fangirl, girl.
yeah, and I'm like, that's right. First of all, I love how they kept their real accents. The guy that plays Vicious, Sia, his voice is so freaking deep. And it's so funny because they all just went to the Cincinnati convention. Tosca, the one that runs Passionflix and the director and producer, couldn't make it, so she had called up some of the actors like, "Hey, can you go in my place?" And so Sia was one of them, and he's like, "I'm too scared to talk," because everybody comments on how deep his voice is. And he's
Oh.
like up there just like,
But we like it.
he's like, "I'm scared." And it's just so different from the actors are just so different like in real life from
Mhm.
their characters. It's just really refreshing to see, but they're like the funniest group of people to get together, I feel like. They're always having a blast anytime they're
Gonna
around
have
each
to
other.
watch it, I guess.
Well, they got other authors that you read.
Are they hour long?
They're about an hour long
What
a
is this
piece.
cover? The first book?
Yeah,
Okay.
Dark Lover. Yeah.
What am I on?
You're on Lover Awaken.
I need to do
You're
that
on that one.
sometime.
You really should. Well, that's everything. We hope you enjoy this episode. We hope you have an amazing week and a fabulous
Hey,
Tuesday, and we will see you guys next time. Bye!
bye.